Alright, so today we're going to talk about the principles of graphic design. Alright, balance, hierarchy, proportion, repetition, alignment, contrast, and white space. Okay, so we're going to talk about some of these things when we deal with like all this, the principles of graphic design. Alright, so balance. Balance refers to the distribution of visual weight in a design. It could be symmetrical or asymmetrical, or even in some cases radial, which is elements radiate from a central point. So like this can be considered a symmetrical type design, where it's like if you were to take it, divide it into two half equal size pieces, it would basically be weighted the same. All right, same thing here, very symmetrical. All right, same thing here, again, very symmetrical. Another symmetrical type of design. All right, so this one would kind of be considered like asymmetrical, where it's like very weighted onto one side, but the design works. It still works, kind of creates this kind of like flow that kind of leads down to this logo. This one too would be considered more of an asymmetrical design, where it's weighted more towards one side, but the white space of it kind of like equals out that balance. Again, more of an asymmetrical type design. This one we refer to as kind of like a radial type one, where it radiates from the center and very more of a radiated type of look. All right, hierarchy. Hierarchy controls the order in which the human eye perceives what it sees. Larger elements attract more attention. Brighter colors or higher contrast emphasize important elements. So hierarchy, what gets seen first? And if we look at this ad, we kind of see that the hierarchy here is more the woman running through that wall of either liquid or words or whatever. And basically the way she is directing, it's like how she is running towards something. Our eyes are immediately pulled to the right with that sound body. All right, so that directs our flow. All right, so we see this. The hierarchy here is the shoe in the center. All right, but if you look at this, the heel of it, way it's actually kind of pointed down, it leads your eye towards the 12th annual Women's Golf Classic prices. Or this one. You know, first thing you see is the bucket. See, it's like with Colonel Sanders on it and the FCK on there. You use your memory or use your imagination as to what that actually refers to. But again, it's like this basically was in response to a problem they had in, I think, another country, that they ran out of chicken. So, or this, it's like, again, hierarchy element is looks like a coffee cup, and it leads your eye down to on your way so you can sleep longer. Proportion. Proportion refers to the size relationships between elements in a design. Like proportional relationships help to create harmony and balance. So like here, the proportions of this is like the first thing you see as far as hierarchy is the dog, the big dog, right? Because it's out of proportion to the little dogs, but the big dog is what you see first, which the eyes of the big dog actually lead down the little dogs, which again is this whole idea of proportion. Or in this one, literal, like outer proportion kind of like attracts the eye. All right. Or we look at these, it's like, again, you see the Old Spice representative there. Very, like, well, maybe normal sizes, but you also see little people on there, which is out of proportion. All right, repetition. Repetition strengthens the design by tying together individual elements. Repetition can be used to guide the viewer's eye. So it's like you see the repetition. Target did this very well. And it basically had this type of look that repeats these patterns and things like that actually work to some success. So we also look at this ad. The word style and modern are repeated in here. It kind of gives a different look to it. Brings attention. Or in this case, it's like here is this repeating colors that are being used. Repeating shapes that are being used. All right. So it kind of gives this type of repeating element throughout it. Same thing here. All right, you kind of see the repeating faces in this lineup. Alignment ensures elements in the design are visually connected. Consistent alignment creates a cohesive look. So like here, I mean, if I look at this alignment, it doesn't have to be straight up and down. All right, you can line up the AAN to the bottom of this, or this up here. All right, but again, there's even lineups along this way, whether it's diagonal or not. So looking at the alignment of some of these things, it's like, I mean, the top of this box lines up with the wording there. All right, this bottom or top of this box leans up to that one. The bottom of or this box edge leans up to the planetary systems. Or in these cases, the large words actually form the columns here. Contrast. Contrast refers to the difference between elements, making some stand out more than others. High contrast can create focus and interest. So like here, I mean, this is high contrast elements. All right, the difference between black and white and red here stands out. High contrast elements. Apple did this for a little while with the different colors that they used, but they used a silhouette, which created a high contrast element. Right? You look at these, it's like with this dull, bright, like green, and you see these white boats, the red stands out. It's contrasted against all of these. Right? White space is also a designer's best friend and also a client's worst nightmare. Right? White space or negative space is the area around elements in the design. White space helps to organize content, making the design easier to navigate and improve readability. White space is an active element, not just empty space. Right? White space is space that can frame or lead the viewer to something. So like here, IKEA did this with their logo at top. Early Christmas sale starts October 9th, but then there's all this white space, which actually your eye is pulled down because it actually creates this visual weight that's being directed towards this. Oops. Or here, you see that the hand here that's actually forming the top of this light bulb that's not there. You just see the bottom of the metal part of it. But you kind of like imagine with that white space that's being used, it can create that shape of that light bulb. Or in a case here, you see this black gun here, but also lineup of the Clint Eastwood's face. But all that white space kind of like helps to frame that. Or here, not necessarily white space, it's just empty space or negative space that actually is attracting your view of the bat symbol in this poster. Or in this case, it's like the white space surrounding this gives an open and airy type feeling to chic, not geek. Alright. Alright, so hopefully that gives you a little bit more emphasis as far as design goes and all the different elements that are used to create the designs you have. Every design you create should be intentional and should lead the viewer around to the message that you want to bring to it. So I'm going to stop there, and I'll see you in the next video.